Hey folks, welcome back to Green Iron TV. Been a little bit since we've been on. It is a busy time of the year, a lot of stuff going on. Had to move the kids into college, get them all set at college. A lot of stuff going on, busy at work, a lot of events for work going on. So that means less time down here working in the garage. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but we are getting ready to go. So coming up is the Military Vehicle Preservation Association. It's their national show, or their national convention as they call it. I've been to quite a few of these shows over the years. And of course, this is where you get the vehicles judged for their awards and so forth. And so this year, we're going to be taking the M715 as a display vehicle because it's already won. It won the gold medal all the way back in 2011. And now that I have the M38a1 done, we're going to take it this year and get judged. So what we're going to do on this episode is a little bit of the final work on it, final tuning, which is basically cleaning. So the Jeep's done, ready to go. We're going to clean under the hood, clean under the chassis, a couple things like that. Because let's face it, that is a 50 whatever, almost 60-year-old Jeep. And yeah, it drips a couple drops here and there, like they all do. It's a Jeep, man. I only get worried when it stops dripping. So we'll go ahead and we're going to clean up underneath the hood, take care of all that stuff. As far as cleaning the outside of the vehicle, it's pretty clean. We'll do a little bit of that stuff, and we won't do that stuff really probably until we are, a day or so before we load them on the trailers. And of course, I do know they're going to get dirty on the trailers. We're going to have to go all the way around the lake here to get to Wisconsin. The show is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and so we're going to loop around the bottom of the lake to get over there. Be nice if these were amphibious, we could just shoot them straight across the lake. But nope, we're going to have to drive them around. So that's what's going to be coming up here on this episode of Green Iron TV. Like I said, we're going to get the final prep work ready for this vehicle and get it ready for judging with the Military Vehicle Preservation Association. I am one of the judges again this year. I have judged for several years. I am not judging my own vehicle, of course, but I will be judging other vehicles there, and we'll be taking you along for all that stuff. So, like always, want to remind you guys, please take a moment, check out the link down below in the description for the Green Iron merchandise store. There's these nice T-shirts, there's hats, there's all kinds of nice stuff in there, and every little bit that you guys buy out of that just helps me. It's just a little bit. We get a little small cut out of each piece. Helps me put gas in these vehicles and do a little maintenance and stuff like that. So I do appreciate everybody that has bought something from us, and keep it up. We do appreciate it. And of course, like always, please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and most of all, please leave a comment. Just even a simple thanks or that looks great comment. All that does is help push the algorithm for the YouTube and keep the views going here on YouTube. We're trying to break that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we're getting close. So hopefully here with the content we got coming up for the national show and all that we can push it over and break that 1,000 mark. So thanks a lot, guys, and enjoy. Okay, so one of the important things we're going to do as we prepare the Jeep to be judged. So I've gone into the Military Vehicle Preservation Association, all right, and you can actually go in and you can pre-print out the judging form. So this is the form that the judges are going to use when they judge the vehicle, and this is going to give you a good idea of what they're going to be looking for, what you should be looking at, what you should be paying attention to in your vehicle. So we're going to go through and after we get this thing cleaned up, we are going to be going through the list. I will post a close-up picture of this, so if anybody wants to take a look at what all's on it. And I will be down in the description below, be posting a link to the Military Vehicle Preservation Association, to the judging page that has all this information. So if you're restoring a historic military vehicle and you do want to have it judged, even if you don't want to have it judged, this piece of paper is a great piece, because it gives you the ability to maybe look at something maybe that you forgot or didn't even think about, and you can see how it would score out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this sheet to basically prejudge ourselves. Like I said, I do have experience as a judge for the Military Vehicle Preservation Association. I've done it for several years, and so I know how things are scored and judged, and so I'm going to kind of prejudge this vehicle myself before we take it there, and that way I kind of I'll have a good idea. So for those of you out there that want to have a vehicle judged, print this out. They do have some specific ones. So like if you have like the World War II GPWs or MBs, they have a specific one for that. They have a specific one for the World War II Dodges. They have some specific ones for quite a few vehicles. Once you get into the M series of vehicles, it's a pretty universal sheet, and we are using the M series universal one, which the M38a1 is going to fall into. So you guys can check those out, use these sheets, and it'll only help you better your chance at getting a good score when you have your vehicle judged. So, good little tip. One of the first places we're going to clean is going to be here under the hood, and that's just because there's just a little bit of grime, stuff from the fan, the belt, stuff like that blows up against the hood, underside of the hood. And so we're just going to give it a little good wash and scrub down, knock all that greasy material off of it, and then continue cleaning up. This is the joy of a waterproofed engine bay. Luckily, this side of the engine's pretty clean, because if you remember last year, we had that oil line crack and break and blow oil everywhere. So this side got a real good scrubbing before, and luckily it just needs a little wipe to be good. And of course, the joy of where we live here in West Michigan is we get these beautiful sunsets out there. So we have these just absolutely gorgeous sunsets, and just spectacular to watch at night. Whew. That gets a lot of the underside scrubbed up, especially those areas like the skid plates on both the motor and at the transfer case. Those like to just accumulate all of the dirt and grime, so we want to make sure we got those cleaned up good. Okay, while that dries underneath, we're going to go ahead and get our scoring checklist out. Because it's really small font. The spectacles out because Mother Nature is not good to my eyes anymore. And we're going to go through a few things here and kind of check off the list and see what's there. So we'll start over here on the far left, and the first category is part of the running test. And of course, the first point is ease of starting. We do know the vehicle starts. I just fired it up. She fires up nice and easy. Point 2 is smoothness of the motor. This motor runs like a little sewing machine in there, just perfect. Number 3, exhaust check. No excessive smoke. She doesn't smoke. No excessive noise. It's got the all original exhaust underneath it, and no leaks. So that was one of the reasons why we put that all new exhaust on it last year, is to take care of that leak at the manifold. So we have that all set up and ready, and then verify the operation of, and it's a whole bunch of things here. So we're going to verify operation of the ammeter. And of course, we know that we're going to turn it on and it is going to light up and come up. Oil pressure gauge works, fuel gauge works, water temp works in this vehicle. Hand throttle works, choke works, steering, free play, and of course, you did see on that episode a couple ago where I tightened up the steering box, and so we do have nice tight steering. Clutch pedal free play, so just probably a half inch or so before the clutch free play. Parking brake, emergency brake, that works. Wipers, so these are the vacuum wipers, so without the machine running, but they do work. And you know, they have the control valve right there to make them work. Horn works. Dash, let's see, was that dash instrument lights? So yes, if we turn on the lights, turn on the dash lights, our lights on the dash come on. Headlights are on with high and low beam. Put my button over here. Come on now. Oh, there it is. They're reaching the right spot. Both low beams are on. both high beams are on. So we know that's good. Service tail light. So, yep, our tail light's on. We know it lights up as a brake light. Blackout lights, and so I've shown you before when I did the whole thing on blackout lights. Yes, that blackout light does work. It's very dim, and you'll never even see it. Just barely see it. Probably glow on my fingers there a little bit. That's how a blackout light works. The blackout tail light works. All right, blackout driving lights, the blackout marker lights all work. So in that first category, we should score the maximum of points because all those features are on the vehicle and they do work and proper function. Next, we'll move on to the exterior of the vehicle. General cleanliness. Of course, I'm in the middle of washing it. It's going to have some spots on it right now, but that's also why I was crawling underneath it and washing some of the heavy spots underneath. That way I can go back later with some spot cleaners and clean the underside. I can do that when I'm not out in the gravel. I can do it here on the regular floor and use the creeper to crawl under there. At the show, the judges will be crawling underneath the vehicle. They will be looking underneath and making sure that it's painted all the way around. It's painted on the underside. It's, the frame's in good shape. That there's not a bunch of crud and stuff caked to everything. So the cleanliness, so the body condition, so doors or tailgate. Well, this vehicle doesn't have doors or tailgate, so no deductions there. Fenders, are the fenders in good shape? Yep, these fenders are in great shape. There's no dents. They're all there, complete. Hood is a good hood. It has one or two little small dents in it. Now, that's one of the things to remember with doing this. This vehicle is going to be judged as a motor pool class vehicle, which means how it would have looked while it was in the service. So that's going to mean a few little small dents, a run in the paint, a nick here and there will not detract from the score on the vehicle. If you want to have a perfect vehicle, you will put that in the factory restoration class, and that will be, the vehicle will be just as it rolled off the factory floor. Those vehicles are beautiful, but that's not my style because I do like to drive my stuff in shows and parades and stuff like that. And that means they're going to get a little nick, they're going to get a rock kick up, they're going to get a little ding here and there. So that's my style, is to do the motor pool style. And that's what I've restored this to, is motor pool standards. The grills in the vehicle, running boards, this vehicle doesn't have running boards. The body, tub, and bed. So good tub, solid tub. There's no rust, there's no holes, no obvious patches or anything like that. Tub's in really, really good shape. So we know that's good. And wheels and tires. It has the proper military rims for the Jeep and the proper 7x16 NDT tires. Tires are all in good shape, so that should check that off at a good rate. Paint, color, and finish. So this is OD Green 24087. This is a color that this is what is basically the late 60s, 70s color for the military. The original color on an M38a1 would have been a little bit different. It would have been a little bit darker of a green, and it was the same as like the late World War II color. But I choose to portray all my vehicles from the 60s, not the 50s. So that's why I did paint it this color. So this is a correct color for this vehicle and for a motor pool vehicle, which means it's obviously been repainted. in the motor pool at some point, and that's correct. Of course, finish is good because it is brand new. We saw last fall that I just painted this vehicle. Markings, it's got fresh, good markings. These are the correct markings. I have all the correct markings and in the correct placement. Thanks to our friends over at Delta Team Decals. We have all that stuff, so we know the markings are good. The tires are in good shape. They are, like I said, the proper NDTs. They're in great shape. Let's see. Lights. All the headlights we went through in the operation side of it, but in the appearance side of it, so all the headlights, tail lights, all that stuff, all the blackout lights, besides functioning, they all look correct. They are all the correct bulbs and styles of lights on the vehicle. So that should get us good points on all of that. Bumpers and bumperettes. It does have the original bumper and bumperettes on the rear. They're in great shape. The front bumper's got a few little marks in it and so forth like that. And like I said, this is a motor pool vehicle. Therefore, yeah, it's going to be allowed to have a few little kinks and dinks in the bumper, but that's, it's a really straight, good bumper. So depending on the judges, they may give us a point or two, for the couple dents in the bumper. We'll see. Not that big of a deal. Pintle hook and trailer socket. Yes, this has the pintle hook and trailer socket on the rear. It does fully function. Spare tire carrier is on it and in the proper spot. Has the spare mounted. Grab handles and tie downs. These Jeeps don't have exterior grab handles. They do have the grab handle on the dash. And then I do have all the proper footman loops for the summer top and for the tools and all that stuff. So it does have that stuff all on it proper. Mirrors. This Jeep does have the proper, it only has one mirror. It should not have a rear view mirror in the center. That is an add-on, and it was not a requirement on the vehicles, and therefore I don't have it. And let's see. Windshield. So windshield frame, the glass, the wipers. So it's a good frame, nice and straight, no rust, in really good shape, no real dents in it. Good glass, no cracks, no fogging or anything like that. It's got good rubber. The wipers are all the original style wipers and they all function. The canvas top in bows. So we do have the summer top for this vehicle, which is the top that goes over in the bows. We have that. We will be putting that on at the show for display and for judging. And then bolts, nuts, clips, fasteners, and stuff like that. So, stuff like these bolts here around the dash. These are all the proper bolts and fasteners. I have seen, and when I've judged some vehicles, we have seen where, somebody's just ran to the hardware store and grabbed some nuts and some various nuts and bolts and stuff to put stuff back in and put it together, which is fine because that's how we would have done. But what I like to see is they're all the same size and style. So all these bolts are all the same disc style, which these are all original. And they're throughout the vehicle and they're the original style. And so we call that nice and good. Part 3, standard accessories. So any standard accessories that these Jeeps have. So yes, we have the shovel and the pickaxe or the axe, that stuff. Not a lot of standard options for these vehicles. There wasn't a lot of options. So, but next, part 4, the interior. So number 1 is general cleanliness. Of course, we will be cleaning it. We'll clean all the footprints out of it and stuff like that. It is in really good shape on the inside. And of course, we just repainted all this last year, so we know that's all in good shape and clean. So the paint, color, and finish on the interior is correct. Seats are the correct frames. They have the correct upholstery. And then lastly on the seats is the condition. And of course, these seats are all in really good condition. There's no rips, no tears, or anything like that. Got good foam to them. And yeah, they got a few wrinkles and marks in them because this is a motor pool vehicle. So dashboard, so all the data plates, and of course this does have all the original data plates. Knobs and switches, this has all the original knobs, switches, so that's all correct. And instrumentation, so yes, it has the original factory instrumentation in it. Steering wheel and column, yep, stock wheel column. This one's in really good shape. No cracks, no big chips or anything like that out of it. Shift levers and knobs. So yes, this has all the original military knobs. They're all in good shape. Shift levers are all in good shape and all function. Door handles and cranks. Well, the Jeep doesn't have doors, so there's no need for that. The floorboards are good. The floor mats, there are no floor mats for this type of vehicle. The draft pads, so we do have the boot, and we got the draft pads on the pedals. And the shift boot, yep. Of course, mirror, this doesn't have an interior mirror. Well. Oh, bolts, nuts, fasteners. So yeah, like we talked about before, those are all the correct nuts and bolts, fasteners in there. All right, part 5 is the under the chassis, which we just did, and very simple stuff there. Paint and color and finish. Yep, it's all the green. General cleanliness, frame assembly. Yep, this frame's in its original configuration. Nothing's been cut, welded, hacked on it. Drivetrain's all the original drivetrain. Original exhaust system. Well, it's not the original exhaust system, but it is a correct exhaust system that we put on last year. Took the homemade style one off of it. Put the correct one on it with the correct flanges. Wiring looms. It's all the original stuff. Brakes and fuel lines are all good and proper. Spring shock suspension, they're all in good shape. Steering linkage is all in good shape. And then of course the nuts, bolts, clips category again. That stuff is all correct underneath there. Part 6 is the engine compartment. And so the paint and color of the motor, general cleanliness, the engine is at the correct block, correct head and valve covers, oil pan, manifolds, all that stuff. The firewall cracked, not been cut up, holes punched through it, stuff like that. Electrical, batteries, battery cables, primary wiring, secondary wiring, distributor cap, coil, horn, starter, generator, ground straps. So all that stuff is all original for this vehicle. Let's see here. Cooling system, radiator fan and belts, hoses, clamps and water pump. So that's all the proper style underneath there. Air cleaner bracket and ducting, oil filter brackets and lines. We know that stuff's all good. And then fuel system, fuel tank, fuel filter, fuel pump, carburetor, and all that stuff. So that's the gist of everything. And of course, having judged before, I know there should be very little deductions on this vehicle, hopefully. Keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully the judges that do judge this vehicle aren't aren't sticklers. I have had before when I've had a vehicle done. I ended up with a set of judges one time when I did the M37, and I had it judged. A couple of judges that I felt judged it unfairly and tried to hold it to factory standards. The vehicle is a motor pool restoration. It's not a factory restoration. Therefore, the vehicle didn't score well. I did have a talk with the judging chair, who had actually seen the vehicle, and he looked at the scores and he kind of agreed with me that it probably wasn't scored fairly, and that I should bring it back, one of the next years, have it rejudged and redone. I didn't have time at that point to bring it to the next year. Next year, I think, went to the West Coast. I certainly wasn't going to travel it all the way across the West Coast. In the meantime, more vehicles started piling in, and me working on them, and so those became more of a priority to finish. I know that M37 is in great shape, and it's a great motor pool vehicle, even if it doesn't have a gold award. My 715 is a gold award. That vehicle was judged pretty fairly back in the day, and I appreciate the guys that judged that. It is also one of the reasons why I became involved as a judge, was to help judge the vehicles and judge the vehicles for what they are. Motor pool vehicles need to be judged on a little bit different scale. I know several of the guys that are the judges for the factory restored classes, and if you want to see somebody sweat the small details, have a Willys MB or a Ford GPW Jeep, World War II Jeep, judged under factory specified standards, and they can get downright nitty picky. Like for a Ford GPW, all the bolts should have the F stamp for the Ford in it, and for a factory restoration class, they're going to be checking to make sure that all those nuts and bolts are F stamped. Like I said, factory restored vehicles are beautiful. I love them, but just not my cup of tea. So, all right, well, that's going to wrap up a little bit of this. Like I said, we're going to let the vehicle dry off. By going through the judging score sheet, I have a good idea of where I need to further clean, what I want to clean up. Like I said, probably in another episode here, as we get closer to the show, I'll be crawling underneath this thing and detailing it from the underside so that it's nice for that. Luckily, like I said, 715 is not being judged. It's going to be a display vehicle, so it can get just a basic cleanup. Nobody's going to be crawling underneath it. Nobody's going to be picking around underneath the hood, checking everything out. So, I don't have to worry about cleaning that quite as extensively. We'll give it a good exterior clean, and then we will set it up with our display that we normally do with our mannequins, sandbags, machine guns, the whole 9 yards. Of course, I do have to display with this vehicle, I do have the mannequin that I call Little Ernie, which is dressed up in a replica of my father's uniform from his time in the 313th ASA, which is what this Jeep is marked for. So I will be putting that mannequin on display with the vehicle. And I plan on having this vehicle basically set up just like the M38A1 he had when he was stationed in Florida for the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is basically what this vehicle is kind of a replica of. And we'll stick that picture in here. And then that is how we are going to try and set this vehicle up, even with how they have with the canvas tucked up underneath in the back. I am going to do that. and replicate that picture. And of course, I will probably have to explain to the judges why it is tucked under. I will, of course, also while displayed, I will have a framed picture of that vehicle framed and sitting there with it, and that way I can point it out to those guys that yes, this is what the vehicle is representing, and hopefully they'll judge it from that way. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I know, like I said, it's been a little while since we've been in the garage. Yep, life gets busy, but we'll have a whole bunch of content coming up. Like I said, we're going to finish getting ready the vehicles. I have 2 trailers I need to get prepped up. I have a work event coming up, and then in a couple weeks we're hitting the road to Wisconsin. So we'll be doing probably several episodes to cover the Wisconsin convention. We'll probably have a general convention one showing us getting there set up, our setup, show around it, and then I plan on doing some filming when we do the judging. So I will bring you guys along for judging the vehicles, and you'll get to watch along as a fellow judge and I judge a few vehicles, and hopefully the vehicles we judge are just as good as what I'm bringing, and we can give them great scores and give them gold medals. So thanks a lot. You guys have a great evening. Thanks a lot for sticking along. Hey, make sure you check out the link down below for the merchandise store. T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, which I definitely don't need tonight. It's warm and muggy. But fall's coming up, and you'll be looking for a nice sweatshirt, so grab one of those. All kinds of cool stuff in there. Like always, please give us a like, leave a comment. All that stuff helps the algorithms for Google. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We are getting very close to our 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate that. And maybe once we hit 1,000, maybe we'll look at trying to do something special for somebody. Maybe I can get the guys from Delta Team Decals to throw in maybe a decal kit or something for a lucky winner when we hit 1,000. So thanks a lot. You guys have a great day and enjoy.